so I'm just gonna be direct with you! Ah! So fast!
Fast Racing Neo, without a doubt in my mind, lives up to its name. A sequel to the WiiWare game Fast Racing League, which, by the way, fit 12 tracks and 40 megabytes? I have no idea how they pulled that off. Anyway, this game follows right in the footsteps of the WiiWare title. Pick an anti-gravity vehicle of your choice and blast off at the starting gate, trying to get first place in each 4-track cup, Mario Kart style. Neo's controls are also pretty easy to get used to. Accelerate with A, lean either left or right with the triggers. Keep in mind if you played kart racers, leaning left actually makes you lean left, so this isn't like drifting. And use R to boost when you pick up these orbs on the track. They'll slowly fill up your boost meter. But the big catch is either what you do with L or X. Switching phases, and this is where Fast Racing Neo's personality begins to settle in. On the field, you will either run into orange or blue boost pads, and in order to actually get the boost, you need to change your car's phase of the right color. Otherwise, the pad will actually slow you down. This sounds like a minimal addition at first, but once you realize how much you have to pay attention to in the game, and eventually going at those higher speeds, it's gonna turn into a real test of your reflexes. And I really like what that adds to the game. Speaking of controls, in Fast Racing Neo, your game is going to play entirely different based on the vehicle you choose. There's 3 main factors you need to look for when you want to choose a vehicle: top speed, acceleration, and weight. If you choose a heavy car, it's easier to knock enemies out of the way, but that also means you have less handling. So if you don't know the track very well, you're gonna be kissing a lot of walls. And that's not a good thing, okay? Kissing walls, why would you do that? On the other hand, if you choose a light car with high acceleration and low top speed, you may have almost too much control over your car, as leaning with your vehicle may lead to very erratic and jerky movement. I recommend trying each one and see which vehicle fits with your style of play. Personally, I like the one with tons of control the most, so maybe I hate myself or something. Anyway, to sum that up, Fast Racing Neo has a vehicle for everybody, and before you know it, you'll be leaning and boosting around the track like a pro. But that said, this is not an easy game by any means. Similar to its assumed to be inspiration, F-Zero, this game is not afraid to kick your butt. If you mess up, 99% of the time it's your fault. You're gonna have to pay close attention to turn signs. There are plenty of hazards that'll stop you right in your tracks, and to progress, you must place in the top 3. There were many times where I thought winning was just out of my grasp, but with enough perseverance, anyone should be able to beat it without too many hours of hair pulling. Also, to give a little leeway, the devs structured their AI to be more evenly matched with each other. For instance, if an AI racer comes first in one match, it's very likely that they won't just keep getting first, so catching up to them won't be an impossible feat. Therefore, it's possible that if you keep getting second or third place consistently, you may get first overall. Or if you got first a bunch of times, you may make a safety cushion, so when the last track comes, what place you earn may not matter as much. I like this system a lot more than other racers because if you place badly in one of the Cup's tracks, you're not going to be as eager to quit the whole thing and try again. Mario Kart! Oh, and just a little thing, I like how the game shows you your standing worldwide after each cup. At least for me, that's going to add a lot of replayability. I want to get in that top tier! So, enough about the basics, let's talk about the races themselves. Most of the tracks follow a similar formula. Put in some sharp turns, use boost pads to increase your speed, collect these orbs to charge up your boost meter, or just use them the second you get them. And every once in a while, give the players a run for their money with an obstacle or just throwing them off the road. And while you're doing all this, you can ration your boost and use it to ram other players too. It may be a similar formula, but each track has its own main attraction, making a lot of them really memorable. There's a track where water will just pour all over your vehicle. Another will have huge robots walking around trying to crush you. And of course, how could I forget the desert stage that has no boundaries? I do wish that some of the track layouts were more creative, but with the amount of stuff you have to take into account, I'm kinda glad they kept things simple. But that's not to say the game's presentation is simple. This game is gorgeous! The lighting effects, the sense of speed, the use of blur when you land and go fast. Shinen, the developers, did a fantastic job pushing the Wii U to its limits. The soundtrack is pretty good too, though they went for a more atmospheric approach, making the themes less catchy, but I still enjoyed what I heard, and you can eventually unlock a jukebox if you want to give them a listen. And did I mention they got the announcer from F-Zero GX?
You failed like a pro.
Aw yeah, it's good to have you back, man. As for how the content is structured, there's 3 leagues you can play in the game: Subsonic, Supersonic, and Hypersonic. And each class has 4 cups with 4 tracks each, making a grand total of 16 tracks. There's a time attack mode where you try to beat the developer's time, local multiplayer, and 2 to 4 player split screen. Unfortunately, the gamepad is still split up, but you can't win them all, I guess. Online play against anyone or with friends, and our main attraction, Hero Mode. Ugh, burped. Hero Mode! Once you beat the Hypersonic League, you unlock this beast of a challenge. The rules are as follows. You must finish in first place, crashing your vehicle is a one-hit game over, and your boost meter also doubles as your shield meter. So you have to ration your boosts while now having to worry about crashing into walls, which also drains your meter. Now that said, the boost pads not only speed up your car now, but will also replenish your meter along with the other orbs from earlier. And on top of all this, all of the tracks are mirrored, so you have to relearn your turns all over again. This mode is brutal, but luckily you only have to tackle one track at a time, and it puts an amazing twist on the game. You have to be more careful with obstacles, tracks with thin corridors are going to be your true challenge, and with your boost meter being refilled more frequently, hypersonic speed is going to be faster than ever, but this mode is going to keep me occupied and having fun for a really long time, and I am so glad they added it in. Now that said, the game definitely has its flaws, but luckily they're minor things that can be patched later. First of all, there was a few times where my placement was just not registered correctly. Like, I will very clearly be behind a ship, and oh whoops, okay, I'm first. I mean, I'm not gonna complain, but I really didn't earn that. For a racing game, this feels like a very big oversight. Second of all, I noticed slowdown in several parts of the game, specifically in hero mode. It was nothing game-breaking, and in fact, it kinda helped me make better choices, but I do wish the game was optimized a little better. Third, if you want to switch your main controller, you gotta do the stupid Mario Kart 8 thing where you go back to the main menu and then pick the controller you want. I just found that a little annoying. At least the game lets you pick from a variety of options. I ended up sticking with the Pro controller, but the gamepad is also a great option. And it has off TV play, so tons of choices. And lastly, the online play doesn't really have a good system in place. You choose from 3 of the 16 tracks, and you don't have any control over what speed you use or players with different levels of skill. You just face off against whoever's online, and whichever place you get is added to your overall point total. So it doesn't really measure skill, just how much you've played online. Same goes for playing with friends online. It doesn't seem like you have any control there either. For a game with so much polish in every other aspect, I really wish they put more time here. But with these flaws aside, Fast Racing Neo is an amazing racer through and through, with incredible speeds, the satisfying gameplay, and visuals that would make a lot of current gen games blush. It's an essential purchase for any racing fan. And did I mention it's only $15? For 16 tracks and the modes it provides, that's a steal. So Fast Racing Neo has great gameplay, good visuals unless they fix that slowdown, and in that case that would be a great, good sound, and great length. And overall is a great game. If you've been waiting for a futuristic racer that either starts with W or F, you should definitely get this game. In fact, for those people, I'd say that this is a system seller. And that's as direct as it's gonna get from me. So, I have another request. Can we get these guys to make the new F-Zero? We haven't had F-Zero in what, like over 10 years? I'd prefer. Sheehan did a really good job here, and I feel like they should be maybe like co-developing with Nintendo, or like put them in charge of something. These guys are really talented. You see the press this game got at E3? Nintendo needs to learn what their F-Zero fans want. They wouldn't know if you hit them with a blast ball. That was a Metroid joke. Sorry for bringing the memory back.